"Mom, he's my brother," said the young boy to his millionaire mother when he saw the boy on the street. Then, the boy's gaze lifted from the city towers as 6-year-old Andrew, dressed in a perfect navy blue suit, tightly grasped his mother's hand. They had just come from a downtown gala, a fundraiser event at the Ritz where wealthy families mingled in glass halls, exchanging soft laughter over champagne. Andrew remained quiet as usual, polite, well-mannered, and used to silence. His mother, Clara Whitmore, was renowned for her elegance, a tall woman in beige heels and crisp suits. She moved through life as if everything was already scheduled and settled, but nothing had prepared her for what was about to happen that afternoon. As they rounded a corner near 6th Avenue, Andrew suddenly froze, his grip on Clara's hand tightening. "Andrew?" she asked, glancing down. "What is it?" Andrew didn't speak. His eyes remained fixed on the sidewalk ahead. There, against a wall near a trash bin, sat a skinny boy, barefoot, shirtless, dusty, and no older than 8. His ribs pressed against the skin, and his eyes were sunken from hunger. In his hands, he held a crumpled cardboard sign that read "Food," and for a long moment, the two boys simply stared at each other. Then Andrew whispered, "Mom, he's my brother." Clara blinked. "I beg your pardon." Andrew's voice broke. "That's Malik. I used to give him food when we were little, in the place with the green beds, when I had bad dreams." He held my hand. Clara furrowed her brows. "Andrew, sweetheart, you've never had a brother." "Yes, I did," he said, trembling, "before you and Daddy brought me here, when I didn't have suits, when I was cold." Clara felt a strange stirring inside her, an unease she hadn't experienced in years. She looked again at the boy on the street. The child looked up slowly, his dark eyes meeting hers, not begging, not angry, just watching. Clara tried to guide Andrew away. "Come, darling, let's keep walking," she urged, but Andrew yanked her hand fiercely. "No, he's my big brother. He always shared, even when he was hungry, too." People turned to look. Drivers slowed down. Clara's face flushed. But Andrew released her hand and stepped toward the boy on the street. His small shoes clicked softly against the pavement. The boy's name echoed in his mind, Malik. He remembered that name as if it was written into his bones, and though they were different colors. And Malik was taller, rougher, 2 years older. None of it mattered. Malik had once been the only person who cared for him in the world. "Malik," Andrew whispered. The boy looked up slowly, uncertain if he was dreaming. Then something in his face cracked. His jaw trembled. Andrew rushed forward, throwing his small arms around the bony boy's neck. Malik didn't move at first. Then, hesitantly, his hand lifted and rested gently on Andrew's back. Clara stood frozen, her hand still suspended in the air. This wasn't imagination. This was memory. It all happened 5 years ago, when Andrew was just over a year old. Clara and her husband had adopted him through a private agency from another country. The paperwork had gone smoothly. The records were minimal. They'd been told he was abandoned and had lived briefly in a foster center. They never knew he had someone with him. No mention of another child. No mention of Malik. As a crowd gathered, Clara stepped forward, her voice trembling. "You know each other?" Malik looked up, shielding his eyes from the sun. "I used to feed him my porridge when the workers forgot," he said softly. "I told him stories at night. He didn't talk much, but he used to fall asleep next to me." "Why are you here?" she asked, almost a whisper. Malik looked down. "They never took me," he said. "I had breathing problems. They said no one would want me." He didn't cry, didn't ask for anything. He simply held Andrew as if he had held him through storms before. And Clara suddenly understood. Her son hadn't found a stranger on the street. He'd found someone he already loved. Someone who had once held his hand when the world had nothing to give. That night, Clara Whitmore sat at her grand mahogany desk, tears streaking her designer makeup. The house was silent. Andrew had cried himself to sleep, whispering Malik's name as if afraid he might disappear again. Clara wasn't one to get emotional. She was a woman of business, facts, and polish control. But now, she stared at the single photo she'd taken on her phone, Andrew clutching that street boy as if he'd never let go. The boy Malik sat in silence, as if he didn't believe he deserved to be remembered. Clara called her private investigator at midnight. I need everything, adoption records, orphanage and hospital files, anything related to Andrew's early childhood. If there's another boy, his name is Malik, I want to know why they were separated. The next day, a discovery shook her to her core. Andrew and Malik had indeed come from the same orphanage. Same intake week. Similar height, weight, and even illness records. They had shared a room. One record listed Malik's name alongside Andrew's. But at some point, a line was drawn across it in red ink, followed by the words deemed unfit. Adoption not recommended. And just like that, Malik vanished from the paperwork. Clara's hands trembled as she read the words over and over. No one had told her there were two boys. The following morning, she returned to the street with Andrew, praying Malik hadn't disappeared again. He hadn't. He was sitting exactly where they'd left him, this time with a sandwich from a kind passerby. Though untouched, his eyes lit up the moment he saw Andrew, who ran across the pavement and wrapped his arms around him without hesitation. Clara knelt beside them. Malik, I want to take you home, she said softly, at least until we figure this out. Malik looked up, stunned. Why? He asked. Because I should have asked about you a long time ago, she replied gently. And because my son, your brother, never stopped remembering you over the next few days. Clara pulled every string she could. Emergency placement, legal intervention, DNA testing, and on the 6th day, just before dawn, her lawyer handed her the results. 99.9% sibling match, not by blood, but by history. The same foster home, same intake file, same early nourishment, care, ID, two boys separated by a cruel judgment, a pen stroke, and indifference, now found again by a 6-year-old in a tiny suit with a giant heart. Clara arranged a press conference, not for fame, but for accountability. We adopted Andrew thinking we were giving a child a second chance, she said. But we didn't know he already had someone who loved him like a brother. That omission stole 5 years from two children who needed each other. Her voice cracked. This is Malik, she added, placing her hand gently on his shoulder as he nervously stood beside Andrew. He isn't broken. He isn't less. He's brave. And from this day forward, he's home. The crowd stood, some crying, as Malik, for the first time in years, smiled. Months went by. Malik started school, his first real classroom ever. He struggled with the alphabet, but excelled at math. Andrew held his hand every morning, proudly introducing him as my big brother to his friends. Clara enrolled Malik in therapy, nutrition, support, and art classes. But more than anything, she gave him what he'd never had before, a bed, a nameplate, a space on the family photo wall, and a future. On his 9th birthday, she gave him something else, small, worn, but priceless, a laminated copy of the cardboard sign that once read food. Below it, she had added in golden ink, you asked for food, you gave love. Now, both had everything, because some families are made by chance, but others are made by children who refuse to forget each other. And Andrew, he didn't just find a lost boy on the street. He found the part of himself that had always been missing, a brother forever. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to give a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more emotional, dramatic, and unexpected tales. Let us know in the comments where in the world you're watching from. We love hearing from all of you. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.